com o Marcos, que é Senior Designer do Mad Max, e eles estão trabalhando nesse projeto há 3 anos. Eu quero perguntar sobre a relação do jogo com o filme. A gente sabe que não tem muito, mas... So, Marcus, when you started this project, when I first saw it, it was a couple of years ago, so like a pre-alpha. I didn't know what to expect from the game. I didn't know what to expect from the movie. I just was like an old-timer, an old Mad Max fan. And now, with the movie coming out and being like this, bringing the Mad Max franchise into people's minds and to a whole new generation, how do you feel about that, being part of this project since before the movie was out?
It's been incredible. I mean, we're so happy to be part of the Mad Max franchise. And like you mentioned, the movie and the game are separate, you know, but they're both windows into the authentic Mad Max universe. But they're telling different stories, and you know, there's 2 different pieces of work, basically based on the same vision of the same universe.
Have you had any conversation with the movie production?
Yes, George Miller, the director, was consulting us in the beginning of the project, but we've then sort of taken that and made our own entry into the Mad Max universe.
When I saw the movie, I just immediately remembered the game. I need to get into this world, and I know that Mad Max game is the way to do it. I want to play into this world. So people who are psyched by this idea, like me, what can they expect to immerse and expand their experience in the game?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Like the only thing it's not is that exact story of the movie or any of the movies. But what it is it's the same universe, it's the same world. So I mean, you're gonna get exactly what you're saying, pretty much. You're gonna get to make your own, you know, way. You're gonna have to be your own Max in the wasteland and experience completely different things than in the movies. But they're the wasteland things, you know. There's the thing that happens in the wasteland. It's a different story, but it's still the same, you know, the same universe, the same things happens, the same. You're gonna recognize a lot of things because this is the real deal. This is a real wasteland.
And what about the Interceptor? I know that we can customize our car and the way that we want, change everything. But if I want to drive the Interceptor, the classic car from the movies, will I be able to construct the Interceptor?
It's a great question, and I can't really answer that.
Okay, mystery. All right. What did you find most difficult thing, the greatest challenge into bringing this idea of this wasteland car combats into actual gameplay that flows naturally?
Yeah, that was one of the major challenges, is to make car, because a car has to handle, it can't only be combat. So before you make car combat, you have to have car handling, car driving, you know, and this also entails so many other things. You don't want to drive, typically we notice, you want to drive forward when you have car combat. You don't want to dance around in little circles. So that was a big thing that we noticed, that we want to have the game often take place in high-speed chases, you know. So that was a big thing, and hopefully you noticed in the game that there's a lot of that. You drive and you have the combat side by side, you know. So that was one of the biggest things we realized. But also we spent an incredible amount of time on the car physics model and the car handling. The handling model is incredible, and like, you know, each gear of the engine are simulated. The torque and the axles are simulated.
So if I get a heavier car, I have a different handling.
Yeah, exactly. So all the characteristics, when you upgrade the car, the characteristics changes. So if you pile on a bunch of armor, the car's going to get heavier. It's going to sink down lower to the ground. It's going to bump into stuff. It's going to be much heavier to turn, and the engine is going to struggle, you know. So then you have to upgrade the engine. You're going to upgrade the suspension. So it's constantly changing based on what you're applying to the car.
Is upgrades the only way that we can better our cars, or there are different configurations that I have to find in the game?
It's like that, but it's not. We're not telling you necessarily it's like that. What we're saying is that each upgrade, or most of them, have a kind of a drawback. So if they add weight, or if they do something less desirable, So I mean, my favorite Magnum Opus, it has no armor, for example, because I think the armor weighs it down, it makes it a bit clunky. So my favorite Magnum Opus has a huge engine, great tires, great suspension, you know, and then I just take them out with my harpoon and with the weapons like that. So you're gonna have to notice for yourself, like what kind of combination that you like, if you want it stiff, or if you want it bouncy, if you want big off-road wheels, or if you want sort of asphalt slicks. So it's going to be up to you we're never going to say like this is the perfect combination. It depends on your driving style.
Okay, well this is an open world game. First question that pops into our minds is, how big is this wasteland?
Yeah, I'm not sure, to be honest. It's huge, and but also Avalanche, we can make the game infinitely huge if you want to, but that has other problems. You know, then we don't have content for the entire game. So this game is the constraints are the place that we have envisioned. You know, it's a very particular place. It's a sort of a dried out seabed that climbs out of the water onto land, and then apply the apocalypse to that. So you see its seabed, you see it coming out of the water, you see sort of where the shoreline was, you see boats here, and you see ruins of houses over here, and also the distance between the things that you do. Also determining the size of the world, because you know we have a driving game. So in a game where you walk, the game would typically be smaller because you're actually walking between things. So here you're driving very fast sometimes between locations. That makes the game world bigger.
So I know that gas is a factor, because this is Mad Max premise. But what happens if I run out of gas in the middle of the desert?
So yeah, we had to, of course, deal with that. So there are a couple of things you can do. The most prominent one is there's sort of a cheat that you can go and you can press a button, you pay scrap, it will fill up the tank. Well, it's not a cheat, but it's like, you know, okay, we're all out of options. But the cool thing to do, let's make that a story that happens. You know, oh shit, I'm out of gas in the wasteland, actually walking in some direction, hoping to find gas. That's how we envision you to play it, but we added that quick buy feature, just, you know, if people get frustrated.
Is there by any chance that we can set a trap, like use like a smoke screen to attract attention, and people come, and then I, you know, just destroy them and take their gas?
I mean, I'm tempted to say yes, but there's no mechanic to actively set a trap, but people will seek you out. Like dangerous people will come. I mean, it's almost impossible to be somewhere that's completely dead. You know, you can see a car at least, and you can walk towards it. He will then try to get to you, and like you said, you can shoot him out of the vehicle, or you can trick him, and you can basically get a fuel tank from there.
Yeah, that's the cool way, right?
That's the cool way of doing it. But you know, you can, if you're frustrated, you have only 10 minutes left of your gaming session, and you're stressed, you can buy for scrap.
Do you know how much time, how much gameplay time do we have?
It's impossible to say. I mean, the main storyline is really good, and I think sufficiently long. And then it's you know, you can just spend infinite amount of time with the other stuff. It's almost not possible to 100% this game.
What experience can we expect from Mad Max?
You can expect an open world that's absolutely beautiful. Car combat that's physics driven and extremely emergent. You can expect ground combat that is very rewarding, and you can get really good at it when you practice. You can expect a really solid and engaging story, and you can expect to be Mad Max.
Oh, nice, man. Thank you a lot, man. See you around.